brother.
Hey, great to see you, man.
Great to see you too.
How's it going?
I'm good.
Hey, thanks for doing this interview with me today.
My pleasure. Come on.
Yeah,
Love
man,
it.
I'm so excited.
It's gonna be fun.
Oh man, I got so many great questions I'm gonna ask you.
Oh no.
All right.
No,
Shall we
I'm scared.
practice a little bit?
Sure.
All right, let's practice. What's your worst haircut that you've ever had?
Anyway, some people said I had a mullet.
Yeah, you had a mullet?
They say I had a mullet. I had
Party on top, business. No, wait, what was it? Business on top, party on the back. Yeah.
No, I had really long hair.
Oh, yeah?
Pretty much down to here.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Man. I used to have surfer hair.
Did you?
Yeah, I had like long blonde surfer hair. Fast times were just going high.
It was exactly. Jeff Piccoli. No, I had this really long hair, and people used to braid it.
What?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then look how things have changed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I remember the worst haircut you ever had. Remember when Yop loaned you his hair clippers?
Oh no, no.
Man, you used to have this like amazing, like kind of like nice cut, and then all of a sudden you went from like hair today, gone tomorrow. You were just like completely shaved.
I mean, but that's because I forgot to take the. I forgot to put the thing back on.
Yeah. You forgot to put the edge
the
guard
back
exactly,
on.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it just went down to nothing. I thought, hey, actually, this isn't so bad.
Yeah, man. And now you kept it, right? Yeah. See how a mistake can turn into a
And I don't have to bring a brush anymore.
That's hilarious. So, all right, here's another question. What's the best crash you've ever had?
Anyone who knew me at Curtis, if I don't say this, they're gonna like write something.
Okay.
On like as a comment on this video.
Okay.
Okay, so we were in Avion, Curtis on tour.
Okay.
And so the whole orchestra was out playing volleyball. And me and my friend Dave Wiener had rented mini bikes.
Yeah.
Like mopeds, like Vespas.
Oh no.
And we had ridden like all over the mountains. It was beautiful. And then we were riding back to the hotel, to the sort of dormitory where we were staying. There was this long hill, and then there was a sharp right turn that headed into where everybody was, and everybody was playing volleyball and hanging out.
And you took it at full speed, didn't you?
I didn't have, no, the brakes weren't working.
No brakes!
And so I was totally pulling a Fred Flintstone, like trying to use my feet to stop me.
Oh my God.
And we start going, and I barely made the turn, but the bike hit the sidewalk.
No.
Flipped up in the air.
No.
I missed a telephone pole by this much with my face.
Oh my God.
Slid like 15, 20 feet on my...
on your tuchus.
Yeah, and just stopped. Dead stopped. My whole body. I was bleeding on my leg. My pants were burned.
Yeah.
I was just I was completely just dead on arrival.
Oh my God.
And this Canadian horn player named Paul Osmond came up to me, and he was so concerned. He was freaking out. And he said, "Alex, are you okay?" And as soon as I said, "Yeah," he just started cracking up.
So if you had a week off where you didn't have to do anything, where would you go?
Oh my God, that's a great question.
Yeah.
Honestly, I've been to a lot of, from what we do, we travel a lot.
Yeah.
But I think one of the places I've never been to is, it sounds ridiculous, but Hawaii.
Hawaii? Really?
I would love to just go to Kauai.
I would pay money to see you in a hula skirt.
I would be adorable.
There.
Or I would go to Charleston, South Carolina.
Charleston, South Carolina?
Which is always like one of my, it's like a second home to me.
No way.
Always has been.
Unbelievable.
I have dear friends there, and it's so beautiful.
Yeah, I hear it's like one of the great cities in America.
It's amazing. And also I could play a lot of golf, which is great.
Hey, didn't you work in Charleston?
I did. That was my first
your
job.
Gig?
Yeah.
No way. That's awesome.
Yeah.
The beginnings of a concert master.
Yeah. It was one of the most beautiful, fun cities I've ever been in.
Hey, let's get a cup of coffee.
I would love that.
Yeah.
Aw, thanks, dude.
Hey, so what projects do you have coming up that you're really excited about?
Well, obviously, I'm excited about our horn trio.
Oh man, it's gonna be
I
so great.
can't wait to record those.
The Brahms, man, it's gonna be amazing.
It's gonna be incredible.
It's one of my favorite pieces.
I know.
And I can't wait to look at the Leshnov. It just seems like a gem.
Exactly.
I'm looking.
And working with Orion, that's gonna be so much fun.
I can't wait to play with you, brother.
Aw,
You're so great. Love you too.
Coffee. Must have coffee.
All right, let's cut. I guess the first thing I want to do is point out that you had a choice of coffee mugs today, and you chose the rainbow mug.
I did.
I chose the Don't Mess with Texas because we are here in Dallas, Texas. And why did you choose the rainbow mug?
Because it's the kind of the mood I want to be in.
Yeah?
I'm not really in this mood right now, but I want to be in this mood.
Okay. Well, what does a rainbow signify to you? Just like happiness and like optimism, luckiness?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You took the words exactly out of my mouth.
Oh, that's...
Happiness, optimism, a certain serenity.
Yeah.
Like, you know when you see a rainbow?
Yeah.
And there's like this sort of peace that comes over you, like this sort of, you can't help but smile.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I want to feel.
Oh my God, it's a double rainbow. What does this mean?
Exactly.
Oh man, I remember when I was heading from Munich to Berlin, I saw like one of the biggest rainbows of my life. And it was like, it ended right on the runway next to my plane. And I knew when I was going to go over to Berlin, I was like, hey, this is a sign. I was like, this is right before my audition, before I won. And I was just like, this is a good sign. I was like, I took some pictures of it, and yeah, it was just like a really like special thing. I'll never forget that rainbow.
I knew you were going to win that audition, man.
Dude,
I knew you were going to win.
That's awesome, man. Thank you.
You were in such the right place. Mentally, your playing was just such a high level. Oh,
man,
I just knew it.
Dude, I played for you before I went, and
yeah.
I just remember just feeling like, hey, whatever happens, I'm happy, you know?
That's exactly the way I felt when I was in Amsterdam, in my audition, when I auditioned for the Concertgebouw Orchestra. I remember walking into the hall and just being in that space. I remember one of the reasons I wanted to be a concertmaster was because I saw that video with Carlos Kleiber conducting Concertgebouw with Beethoven 4 and 7.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing that video, and then I walked into that space, and I was like, oh my God, I'm actually here.
Wow.
And I thought to myself, whatever happens, I'm not leaving anything out. I'm just going to put all my cards on the table and just let it ride. Wow. And it was an amazing experience.
Yeah, that's how I felt when I went to Berlin Philharmonie. And when I was on stage, it was just like I was happy, and I was just so excited to be there. I remember like it was a sunny day in December, and I walked on stage, and it was just like, you know, I was just like, all right, this is going to be fun. And they had me introduce myself. And I remember I said, hi, thank you all for listening to me. I'm David Cooper from Dallas, Texas. And like everyone was just like, you know, like it was like the peanut gallery just erupted, man. And I just was like, okay, well, they told me to introduce myself, you know, so.
Well, after I walked on stage in Amsterdam, I put all my music on the music stand, and the entire thing collapsed.
Oh my.
The music went everywhere, and I was like, well, it can't get worse than that. I think it's all good.
So did you play from memory, or did you just take a minute and just pick it all up?
Just took a minute, picked everything up.
Yeah.
And then when I finished, so I finished this one excerpt of Scheherazade, and I felt really good about it. And I was like, and I was about to walk off stage, and Victor Lieberman, who was one of the concertmasters with Jaap at the time, looked at me and said, Alex, are you forgetting something? I had completely forgotten the last excerpt from Scheherazade. And so I didn't really want to put the music back, so I played that one by memory. And I was so embarrassed. I turned completely beet red.
Oh my God.
And then I went on and played, and then I left.
Yeah, but that's the thing is, like, you know, you left it all out there, and you just like had a good good time, and you were human about it, you know? And yeah, I think like so many times, like when I've, looked at auditions and I'm just like, hey, like, I want to win this thing and I want to do like perfect. That's when I don't do so well. Yeah. But when I just go out there and I have fun and I just play and I'm just myself and I kind of let go of results, that's, I don't know, you just be human, just, and don't make anything more out of it than it is. Yeah. Just go play, right?
I think recently I've actually come to the realization that if I relax into the experience, like don't take every performance experience like it's like the last one.
Yeah, exactly.
It has nothing to do with the last one. You're a completely different person that day.
Yeah.
Every day you're different. Every day your body's different. Every day your mind's different. And I actually go into it these days just thinking to myself, I'm just going to relax into this experience, what it is today, at that moment, to be in that moment.
Absolutely.
And a certain wise person once told me to embrace those moments.
Oh man.
And
that's what makes live music awesome.
Yeah, but even recently for me, it's become even a better experience.
Wow.
Because it's so in that moment, in that space, at that time.
Wow.
And I can really find the emotional center of both myself and the music connected at that time.
Wow.
And that for me is making music so much a better experience and so much a more enriching experience.
Well, for me, like, honestly, I try to think about it as, like, not being, like, the best performance I'm ever going to give in my life. I just think about, okay, let's just do this.
Yeah.
Let's just do it. And, like, let's have fun and just be relaxed.
Well, I always tell my students, dude, is like, I tell them, some things will go better than you thought.
Yeah.
Some things will go exactly as you thought. And some things will not go as well as you thought.
Been there, done that.
Exactly. And that will be every concert you ever play for the rest of your life,
Wow. And
unless you're James Ennis.
Who is perfect, by the way.
Yeah.
I know. He's like our manspiration. What do we say? Fiddle inspiration, violin inspiration. Yeah. So, man, yeah, I get down on myself because, you know, it's not always perfect, but, you know, that's the human condition. You know, we're never perfect.
I think, you know, the practice room is the place where we can be brutal towards ourselves. Like Milstein once said,
Yeah.
you should always practice with the ears of somebody who doesn't like you.
Wow,
And
Nathan
then-
Milstein.
Yeah, but then
wow.
in the concerts, you know, you have to have a certain amount of forgiveness for yourself, you know,
Yeah.
and to be able
Yeah,
to say,
absolutely.
like, this was the experience that I had at that moment.
Yeah.
But it's funny, when you do have that forgiveness, and when you do have that sort of relaxation into that moment, I find that it's much easier to perform at the level at which you want.
Yeah.
I just find it's easier. I mean, and without all the expectations, all the pressure,
Yeah.
all that kind of
Yeah.
angst on you.
Yeah, that pressure.
When you just sit there and you take the violin and you just
Let it
get
play.
into it and let it play.
Yeah.
And it's funny because my dad once said it, and it was, I'm not a very religious person, my dad is.
Yeah.
My dad once said, let it play. And I think with what he meant was God.
Yeah.
But for what me, it's let the moment play.
Really funny, man. You know, honestly, I have to say, like, I mean, since you got there, you know, like, before I go on stage, man, I just turn it over.
Yeah.
You know, like, for me, I've had kind of a tough road to hoe. And, you know, for me, what gets me through some of those moments is just like, hey, just turn it over.
Yeah.
You know, and so when I get out there on stage, you know, I just say a little thing to myself. I go, all right, you know, please take over and just let me not be a victim of my own ego and just have fun.
That's a really interesting thing to say.
Yeah, you know, just like, you know, like, help me play for you and for your glory and to help other people.
Yeah.
You know?
On a lighter note, you know what I used to say before every audition?
Wait, what?
Do you remember that Dunkin' Donuts commercial?
No.
Remember when the guy walks
You
out and
really
goes,
are the Burger King, aren't you?
time to make the donuts. I used to say that before every audition.
Yeah.
I walked on my concerto audition, and this woman heard me say, like, time to make the donuts.
That could be like our new catchphrase, man. Before we get on stage, you know, like Ricky Bobby, shake and bake. Shake and bake. You know, time to make the donuts.
Exactly.
That's awesome, man. So Alex, I want to get to know a little bit about what it was like to be you growing up, you know, and why did you choose the violin? Why did you choose classical music? I mean, out of all the types of music, like, I mean, what music did you listen to when you were a kid?
Well, it's funny because my mom's a pianist, my dad's a guitarist.
Rock
my
guitarist?
stepfather-
He's like rocking and rolling. He's in a band.
No, he was a classical guitarist and actually
Okay.
a folk guitarist
Oh,
before
cool.
that. But so I grew up with music. It was
Awesome.
in my house all the
Yeah.
time. I mean, I was in a playpen when I was a little kid, and my mom was teaching her students, and I was
Wow.
sitting there sort of picking which student was by which piece. So I was
Really?
like, oh, it's Andrew. He's playing a Chopin ballade. It's just, you know, and that's
That's
how
so
I,
funny.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up with it.
Yeah, my brother would always play Beethoven. You know, like, you know,
Uh-huh.
I was like a sonatina, but I remember just sitting there. Like, that's one of my earliest memories is just playing and listening to my brother play Beethoven.
Yeah.
Or like Minuet in G.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he must have been 6, so I must have been like 2 years old. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, I mean, it's like,
Oh yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's like when you're constantly barraged with
Yeah,
music,
yeah.
you can't help but like sort of get into your system. But I mean, I played piano at the beginning. I studied with my mom, and anybody who has ever studied with their own parent realizes that's a bad idea.
Right?
It's just a bad idea.
Oh my God, my
And at
mom
that
used to
point-
sit next to me while I practiced, and by like the time I became a teenager, I was like, out of here, get.
Dude, my mom would sit there in the kitchen when I practiced violin.
Wrong note.
And, oh
Yeah,
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 I would be
totally.
playing like Paganini concerto or something,
Yeah, she
and I
was-
had this big old run. He goes like, the E and the third octave was out of tune, and I'm like, shut up, mom.
Yeah. My mom would be like, it's a flat. It's from the kitchen. You know, she'd be like, accidentals, key signature.
Exactly. But my mom was my piano teacher. Couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah.
So I wanted to play anything else, but my favorite instrument was cello.
Oh, wow. Why?
Just love the sound. I
Yeah.
remember hearing Jacqueline Dupre play the Elgar concerto
Oh,
once.
I love Jacqueline Dupre.
And I
One of
just,
my
like,
heroes.
I was so into it.
Yeah.
And then, so I wanted to play cello. So I was in the public schools, and I went to the public school teacher, and she said, God, we tried to find a cello, and ironically, I'm a big guy, but back then I wasn't, and there was no cello my size. So I said, well, look, we
little
need
Alex.
violinists. Can you play violin?
Yeah.
And I said, oh, okay, I'll play violin. And so I just started playing, and then for some reason, my mom always said, I mean, I don't know if this is actually true, but my mom always said that, like, I never scratched.
Wow.
Like, I would, in fact,
Yeah, but I can believe that, though. Because, I mean, like, my mom said from the time when I was a kid, like, I just didn't make ugly sounds on the horn.
Yeah.
You know, it was like, I just didn't like ugly sounds. So,
Right.
yeah, I tried not to make them. Of course, you know, they came out from time to time, but she always said that I never had a bad tone on the horn.
Yeah.
Which is like what most people say about beginning French horn. They just have the worst sound. It sounds
Well,
like
can
a
you
dying
imagine a
cow.
violin? How
Yeah,
stuck-
yeah. Oh
it's
my God,
awful.
yeah, yeah.
But she said I never ever scratched.
Yeah.
But so I mean, that's how I started playing violin. But at the time, like what I used to listen to. I mean, there were certain violinists I used to listen to all the time.
Who'd you listen to?
There was my teacher was one of them, Aaron Roseanne, but I was obsessed with Michael Rabin.
Oh wow.
Obsessed with him, his sound, and the fact that he was so good technically that literally the music would just flow through into the violin and just flow out.
Wow.
And there was nothing inhibiting it.
Yeah.
And I wanted that. I wanted to be able to like take that my emotions
Yes.
and just throw them through the instrument with nothing in between.
Yeah.
No barrier between my heart and the orchestra's heart. And sorry, not the orchestra, but the audience's heart.
Yeah, exactly. Wow.
That's what I wanted.
Yeah.
And so I was obsessed with him.
No
And then
way.
but also I listened to pop music. I grew up with like,
Who'd you listen to?
oh my God, man. I mean everything. You name it. 80s stuff, rap, hip hop. I was listening to sometimes bluegrass music.
Once upon a time, not long ago, back when people wore Adidas and lived life slow.
Oh.
Back when laws were stern and justice stood, and people were behaving like they ought to should.
Yeah, I mean,
You remember Slick
yeah,
Rick?
Of course.
Yeah.
Slick Rick, Dougie Fresh, and the
Yeah,
Get Fresh crew.
oh my God, man.
AT, what was it? What is it? AT against the, what was it? Oh God, well, I mean, of course, Eminem, Dr. Dre,
Yeah.
Tupac.
Oh yeah.
But I mean,
Rest in peace.
Rest in
Pour a
peace.
little bit out.
Exactly.
Pour a little bit out.
Exactly. But I mean,
Oh man.
I grew up with listening to everything.
Oh yeah.
And I loved it. And I love dancing.
So for me, like I used to go to hip hop shows, and
too.
like when I lived in Philly, when I went to Curtis, I remember like my first orchestra rehearsal with the Curtis Orchestra. They asked like, "Hey, does anyone have any announcements?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm going to a hip hop show after this. If anyone wants to come, I got tickets." No one wanted to go, and I was like, "Wait a sec, but this is music too, like,
Sure.
And it moves way more people, you know, like, and affects way more people. I feel like than maybe like sometimes I do from the back of an orchestra, like." And I always wanted to have that connection with the audience. Like I always wanted to have like, hey, how do I like, you know, like play something and make the audience have that interaction, that feeling, that, you know, like throw your hands up in the air, you know,
Right.
that call and response feeling of hip hop. So
Well, and that's what I want.
You know, that was like-
I want my audience to leave my concert never feeling indifferent.
yeah.
Like you should be changed somehow. You should feel something, whether you don't like
Yeah.
whether you love it, something. You have to feel something. You can't just leave there thinking that was nice.
yeah.
You know, those are the worst words I could ever imagine after I play a
Man.
concert. That was nice.
You know, honestly, like when I'm on stage, like I don't really think about like, you know, how I'm gonna leave the audience feeling. I just tell a story.
Yeah.
You know, and for me, like when I'm up on stage, like I'm like so engrossed in this story. I'm so involved with like the mood and the character that I want to portray that, you know, usually I just get lost in it.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, you know, like I'm acting out these roles and like these different characters and you know, and usually that's, I feel like what the audience comes away with is that, you know, they've got like this story.
Right.
But yeah, when I was a kid, I used to listen to the Beatles a lot.
Oh God, I love it.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that's the whole thing. Is I think that
And-
any great musician has a really wide, eclectic taste.
Eclectic. Good music's good music, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, so I would listen to, besides hip hop, rap, top 40 stuff. I mean, I used to listen to Zeppelin. I used to listen to Jimi. I was
Yes.
obsessed with Jimi Hendrix.
Oh yeah.
Obsessed with Hendrix.
Oh man,
I
that
could listen-
opening of Voodoo Child.
Oh my God, are you kidding me? Or the Star Spangled Banner.
Oh man.
Or I mean, the whole our experience.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like
yeah.
for me was unbelievable.
Can you play that on violin?
Sure, man. Sure.
Cha.
And I was funny because I was driving the other day, and Purple Haze came on.
No way.
I just remember just.
You remember Wayne and Garth, like a foxy lady? Foxy.
I can't believe you just did that, but okay. But you know, yeah,
I am
just,
Garth though. Wayne.
But I love all those types of music, and I think all those types of music have an effect on what you do.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, I grew up as normal, I guess, as a classical musician can grow up.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all a bit narcissistic. We're all sort of loners in a way that
Yeah,
when we practice.
we spend time by ourselves, like
Yeah.
trying to make this thing that we love better.
But I love people. That's
Yeah.
the thing. Is that
Yeah.
I've always loved people. That's why I do what I do.
Yeah, me too.
I played as a soloist when I was a kid, and I hated it. Like I hated being by myself all the time.
Really?
I hated being away from That's why I love being a concertmaster.
Wow.
I'm around people a lot. I love playing chamber music.
Yeah.
That for me is like the best experience. I just
Wow.
don't like being. Honestly, and this sounds weird. When I'm playing as a soloist, I don't like all the attention.
You don't?
No,
Yeah.
I like separating the attention between me and the orchestra, or me and my chamber music colleagues.
Yeah.
Or I don't like all of it centered on me all the time. I feel weird.
Wow.
Yeah, it's strange.
Yeah, when I get up on stage as a soloist, I don't know, I love the music so much that I'm just like in it, you know, and I just forget about everything else. It's just like I get to tell this story.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like that for me is like one of my happiest moments, you know.
I think for me, maybe because I was a fat kid growing up. No, seriously. I think
that fat big bum.
Yeah, I was a big bum. But no, I think it was because I was a fat kid growing up that that I just didn't like all the attention.
Yeah.
I thought.
Yeah, but that's why you're funny though.
But yeah, I mean, I had to be.
Yeah.
But no, and it's. I think that, you know, that had an effect on me too. I think every experience in life makes you who you are.
Well, man, I say like all the struggles that I went through, you know, kind of added up, and that went into my music.
Yeah.
You know, that's made my music what it is today, and I can draw from those experiences, and then it makes my my story that much deeper to tell to the audience. You know?
Yeah. I mean, I think that when I learn a piece of music, I really do try to get the emotional center of what I feel the composer is trying to get across to an audience.
Yeah.
Like
exactly.
The first thing I do
we're
is
servants to the composer, really.
Well, yeah. But you want to see like how that piece affects you.
Yeah.
Like, what does it make you feel?
Yeah.
And then you think, okay, how do I get that to them? Like, how do I tell that to them?
Yeah.
And then when you figure it out, and then you let it play in the end, then experience. You know, it's funny because people, they talk about like, I don't know. For me on stage, I'm not. You know, I'm like, I'm present.
Yeah.
I'm present in the moment.
And how do you get there? How do you get to that?
Literally, by what I said before, by relaxing into that moment.
Well, so for me, like, you know, I'm pretty, you know, high wired, and you know, it's hard for me to kind of quiet my mind.
Yeah, but like, I'm sorry, but when I see you on stage, it's like an ecstasy addict.
Yeah.
Like, you're sitting there, you got your wired Dave look with the eyes open like this, like you just had like 3 Red Bulls.
Yeah.
And then suddenly you put the horn in your mouth.
Yeah.
And it's like a pacifier.
Wow.
You're just like, you're a beast.
Man.
You're the beast. You're what everybody wants to be.
Man.
It's when the guy who gets on stage and suddenly his lips touch the horn, and you're totally there, and you're so, and that's what I love when we're on stage together.
It's just like there's no place I'd rather be.
Yeah.
But you know, for me, that's why I love playing solos, is because I'm always playing. Right. You know, and for me, orchestral stuff is a little bit harder because, you know, I have to sit there and I have to wait. And, you know, of course...
Baby. I'm going to cry.
Oh, my God. Hey, you know me. I've got an attention span of a fly, right? Squirrel.
That's right, Dougie.
Yeah. We always joke that I'm like Dougie from Up, you know? Can I be your friend? Yeah. Squirrel. Ball. Cone of shame. So, anyways, what I want to say about that is just that, like, for me, while I'm not doing something, I have to make that interesting as well.
Right.
You know, and for me, if I know the whole picture, the whole arc, and I think of it as like a grand scheme and like a story, then I'm like, you know, in it better because I know how my part fits into the story.
Right.
And then also too, like, for me, it's really important to focus on my breathing. You know, so like I'm like, you know, I kind of slow down. I focus on the in-breath being smooth and the out-breath being smooth. And then I focus on like where I'm holding tension and just try to release that.
Exactly.
And then
that's what I mean by relaxing in the moment.
Yeah.
I let my body just chill. Yeah. My mind is focused, but my body's chill. And then I just get, and I don't have a preconception except for that. For me, it's like funny. I know if my left hand's in the string, everything's going to be okay to a certain extent.
Yeah.
So I do that, and then I relax in, and then I play. Okay, one of the best experiences I've ever had on stage. You and me. Playing Heldenleben together.
I remember
the very
that.
end of Heldenleben.
God. Yeah, that was
and
magical.
I will never forget.
Yeah, I'll never forget
it
that
was
either.
like a dialogue.
Yeah.
Like you would play, and then I would answer, and you would play, and I would answer. And every time we did it differently.
Yeah.
And it was like talking to each other.
Yeah.
And I will never, ever forget that because it was one of those moments where I was totally in that moment and nothing else mattered.
Yeah.
For those brief minutes, the world stopped.
Yeah.
And I felt like, this is all that matters right now.
Yeah.
This is like the best thing ever.
Yeah,
this is why we live.
Yeah.
This is why we do this shit.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's like for moments like that. You know? And honestly, to be up there and to be making music with my brother, you know, like, and just to like have that thing that begins where words end.
Exactly.
Right? Like we had this communication and we knew what the other person meant but we also like were listening and we were responding, and we were like 50 feet away from each other, man. It was just like I said this thing and then you acted, you responded, and it was just like, I mean, there was magic in the room that night.
Yeah.
It really was. And from everyone that has been there, I'm sure like what I've heard is just that they felt that, you know, and that's the imperceivable.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like sometimes people don't understand what makes live music special, but it's like you go to concerts, you know, well, I mean, you go to concerts to see moments like that.
Yeah.
It's like, why do you watch a stuntman? You know, you hope he's going to, like, get the stunt.
Right.
But you always know in the back of your head, like, they might not land it,
Yep.
right? They might not stick it. And for me, it's like, you know, there's that, you know, defying, you know, moment where you're just like, shoot, you know, it might go horribly wrong, but then again, like, it might go horribly great.
Right.
And this is like beyond the thing that I could possibly dream of doing alone.
Right.
You know, like that's why we need each other, right?
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
why, you know, that's why we're in it together.
Yeah.
That's why I play music, you know, is because I don't have the words to, you know, say what I'm trying to say, and the sounds begin where my words leave off.
Yeah, exactly. And I think for me, you know, it's for so long, you know, I'm a teacher, so I'm paid to analyze everything.
Yeah.
So, I mean, my head is a dangerous place to be, as you know.
Yeah. There's that saying, what is it? My head's a dangerous neighborhood, don't go there alone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
My head is a bad place. And so what you know, I can analyze the hell out of anything.
Yeah.
I can go through 50,000 scenarios of anything within 2 seconds.
Wow.
And the
I
problem
wish I was that smart.
No, please. But I think now that I'm older and now that just recently, it's such a great thing when I can just let my mind go
Yeah.
and just play.
Yeah.
It's liberating.
Yeah.
And I wish I could tell people what that feels like,
Yeah.
but it's hard to describe.
Well, it's just like, you know, this whole thing of like, you know, I get to this point where I don't care as much. You know, it's not that I don't care about how my performance comes off, but I don't care about like failing.
Right.
You know, I don't care about how I'm going to be judged. There's like, it's not from a place of fear.
Exactly.
You know, it's from a place of love and from gratitude and from service.
Right.
And that's where I play. You know, I try to play, you
Yeah.
know, on a good day.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I honestly, like when I'm out there, like, you know, if I can think of like, hey, I've been given this incredible opportunity to share this thing, and I love what I do so much, but it's also like such a gift, and yeah, I'm being of service.
Yeah.
You know, I get to help people, you know, like through their daily lives.
Right.
You know, I go like, you know, people stay after work, and they like, you know, have worked a 9-to-5 job all week, and they're living these tough lives. Who knows what's going on at home? They might have a sick loved one. And, you know, like they come to the concert for 2 hours a week, you know, and that's their time where they get to relax and they get to enjoy and forget and dream.
That is exactly why I play.
Yeah.
You know, I know, you know, it's funny, I know people in the audience, people who I've actually never met before, but I'm on Facebook with them, or I've, you know, conversed by email with them.
Yeah.
And I know some of these people can't afford their subscriptions to these concerts, but they come every week because they want to like lose sort of the sense of the everyday for just 2 hours.
Yeah.
And for me, that means that for those 2 hours every week, or for those concerts, the least I can do is give them everything I have.
Yeah.
For those 2 hours, just
Exactly.
give everything I have.
Yeah.
No fear, no holding back, just play. And
But that
I
comes-
think
that-
I owe them that.
Yeah,
and if I can give them that kind of an experience,
Yeah.
then it's enriching for me and them.
I also want to talk about like how you hone your skill, because really, I mean, I think, you know, you and I, we've been given a gift, right?
Yeah.
We love to play and we do it from passion, but also with that comes a lot of responsibility. You know, I feel like I'm a steward of this gift. You know, and so for me, with that gift comes responsibility. You know, I owe it to, you know, like to the craft. I owe it to the composer to really do my homework, to really work.
Sure.
You know, I can't just wing it and hope it's going to be okay. Like
No.
I have to really go in there and I have to do the stuff that people don't want to do. And I think that's the stuff behind the scenes that people don't see that has made me, like, I mean, waking up at 6:30 in the morning, doing my warm-ups like every day.
Well, look, when I hear people talk about people like James Ennis or Hilary Hahn, and they say things like, "Oh, they're just so talented,"
Yeah.
I think that is such horse shit.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's like that belittles all the work they do every
Yeah.
single
Yeah.
day in order
Yeah.
to be as good as they are.
Yeah.
I mean, yes,
There's an
I'm sure
intuition.
that James Ennis's mind
But it's like me, I
works in
can't
a different way.
Yeah, but I mean, I can't go out and expect to be in the NBA ever. I don't have the physical gifts for that. I
Right.
could be like the best free throw shooter if I spent time. If I spent like 4 hours a day for the next 5 years, I could be one of the best free throw shooters, in the state, in the country, right?
Right.
But, that being said, I just don't have the physical attributes to be that NBA player. So
Right.
that being said, we might have some physical advantages,
Yep.
for specific for our instrument. Like James Ennis might have some physical advantages.
And mental.
Yeah, exactly. But also too, like there's so much work that's gone into it.
Of course.
And we have to do the boring stuff that no one else wants to do.
Look, Michael Jordan was once said about him that he was the first one in and last one out. It's that simple.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
so,
exactly. That was in one of his documentaries.
Yeah. First one in, last one out. People who are really good at what they do are willing to do what no one else is willing to do.
Yeah.
And you have to, as an artist, you have to put in the hours. It's funny, there's a violinist named Giora Schmidt, Giggy,
Yeah.
who, I knew Giggy since he was this tall. And Giora said it perfectly. He said, the practice room is the laboratory for courage.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think
that's where I make all my mistakes.
Yeah,
And that's where I learn.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's where we put everything together.
Yeah.
And so that's the place you have to be even the most vulnerable.
Yeah.
You have to sit there and say to yourself, okay, is this good? It
Yeah.
is not.
Honestly,
And how do
honest
I-
appraisal, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And how do I fix it?
Yep.
Don't just sit there and play. Just play. No. Sit there, listen to what you're doing. Think about how you can improve something. Imagine what you want. Have the goal in your mind.
Yes, it's all about the imagination.
It's like what Michelangelo said.
Yeah, but the imagination is such a great tool
Yeah.
because you imagine what you want and then you create it. But you have to have that imagination of what you want in order.
Well, Michelangelo said about a sculpture.
Yeah.
He said, there's this piece of stone, and I just carve away the excess.
Well, I think Michelangelo, didn't he say that he had to find the person inside of the stone?
Yeah.
He's like, the stone will tell me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you just carve away
Yeah.
the excess stuff, and there you're left with what you want.
Wow.
And it takes time.
Yeah.
And it takes time to build that courage. And when you do, then you can go on stage and just sort of let loose. If you don't do the work, you can't do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you're constantly worried about all the things that might go wrong.
Well,
You
preparation
can't-
is my antidote for nerves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the only way around it.
Exactly. Alex, I want to thank you so much for being on Coffee with Cooper and just for your time. You're one of my best friends and you're my brother, and this is one of the best interviews I could have ever had.
Aw, I love you, brother.
Love you too, man. Yeah. Hey, thanks, man. Cheers.
Cheers.